Welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Of course, I am Nick Cameron of Glacially Musical, joined by my good friend, a man who is always ready to get behind the wheel, who'll take you where you need to go, Keefy Chaufur. How we doing today, buddy?
Would you like to go to the Piggly Wiggly?
Yes, I would. I'm not wearing that shirt today. What the fudge? Okay, also, welcome, Finger Fudgers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Keefy, seriously, dude, uh, we discussed the tracksuit, right? We're gonna do that, right?
Yeah, we're all, I don't have a tracksuit to wear. Why do you keep insisting I do?
Well, this okay.
Do
Here's
they
how you
make one in my
tell.
size? Even like I
Yes.
don't even know.
Do you know what size this is? Actually, I'll give you
Large.
double X.
Really? How come?
Yeah, I don't know. Double X. The double X is just works for me. This is my third tracksuit. I have only started buying tracksuits in the past 4 months.
Tracksuit jacket. Do you also own the pants?
I own pants that are similar, that are close enough. Because this is gray with black stripes. I have pants that are black with gray stripes.
Nick
So
Nick is coming at you like it's two-tone Lees in the 1980s.
that
In
counts. It
junior
totally
high school.
counts.
It does totally count.
Anyway, thank you for joining us this week, our good finger fudgers. How are we doing? If you are here for the first week, you are now an honorary finger fudger. Go ahead and hit subscribe and become a full-time. You will not regret it much, probably. Anyway, here's how we do this for our new friends. We do a greeting, a beer check, a vinyl check, news check, shirt check, meat of the day. We also have a guest we'll discuss later on in the episode to discuss some cool stuff. But my beer check this week is I am rocking the St. Louis Brewery Schlafley American IPA. It is a 7.5% monster banger, putting it right into my Iron Maiden pint glass, my Iron Maiden Senjutsu Sword and Steel glass, and I will drink the crap out of it because it is delicious. They don't actually make this all year round. I've been able to find it recently in the Schlafly America variety pack, so I've been buying those up because Aldi has them for $14.
$14. What a bargain for you. No
$14
beer.
for 12. That's a good deal.
Yeah, no, I love your shirt, by the way. We'll shirt check later. Liquid Death.
Murder your thirst, bitches.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend. Alrighty, moving on into my vinyl check this week, I have a twofer. Record one. Now, this is not one of my favorites. This is not something I ever expected I would own. But you know what the worst thing to be, what you know what's worse than being a vinyl guy in a punk rock flea market with records all around you and having a not maxed out your credit cards is? You're just going to come home with it. You're just going to come home with it. And this week I came home, that week I came home with Stevie Ray Vaughan, Soul to Soul. Soul to Soul was, if memory serves, and I am not the biggest Stevie Ray Vaughan fan in the world, although I am now only missing one record he did during his lifetime, which is In Step, which unfortunately is also my absolute favorite. But I believe Soul to Soul was not terribly well received. But you know what? I got a good copy. I got it, I think, for $30. And if you look right here, which you probably can't see real well, this was sold to the vendor for $8. Yeah, I'm sorry, it was $20. It was sold to the vendor for $8 from Record Exchange. So at the punk rock flea market, I purchased, I think, 4 albums that were originally purchased at Record Exchange. So what's the lesson there?
Was that a rhetorical question?
Support Record Exchange.
Oh, always. I love that place. It's like a museum for record collectors.
It's a former library. And the last one of the week, I'm only doing a twofer. Chicago some number. I don't know. Saw Chicago a few weeks ago with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It's printed on the front, by the way.
Is it printed on the front?
Which is an incredible record from the 80s. Incredible.
This is number 17. You know what it doesn't have?
Any lack of bangers. It's incredible. The whole thing.
They didn't. It doesn't have the one song from the 80s by Chicago everyone knows.
The Karate Kid song.
What's the Karate Kid song? Karate Kid Part 2 or Part 1?
In my life, you're the inspiration.
My God, have you started watching Cobra Kai season like 11? I have not.
It's the last season. They're doing it in 2 parts. I watched all of it in one shot. Like,
crazy. You do. I have not. I saw Deadpool.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about Deadpool in the news. Go ahead.
Cool. I'm done.
Oh, all right then. Well, then I have a 1-4, and normally, if we didn't have a guest coming on, I would be surprised. If we didn't have a guest coming on, I would be blathering on about how much I love this record, which I'm going to. So. This was another Record Store Day 2023 pickup, and I left it in the package to unfurl it. This is Napalm Death's second album, From Enslavement to Obliteration. This is a tape that I had in high school, and this is the 2023 Record Store Day remaster.
Why has it got Obi?
It's they just put it out with an Obi. It's fucking dope.
It's an Obi with Japanese on it.
It is. I can't read it, but you can maybe.
I can read some of it.
So just really quick, let's just really quick on this. I love this record deeply and dearly. Hype sticker on the mylar, already in the mylar, been played, been cleaned. Front cover faithfully replicated. Back cover, pretty nice. This is the second and final record with Lee Dorian, and the first record to feature Shane Embury on bass.
Look, for the record, if you're going to reference Steve Perry from Journey, I'm going to sing the songs you reference.
I did not. I said Shane Embury, not
you said
Steve Perry.
Faithfully.
Oh, you stop. You know I hate that band. New
Not
liner
as much
notes,
as me.
New liner notes and photos from Shane here. You should really mute yourself when you're not talking. And then lyrics in the inside slip, which I don't use. And then let's check out this beautiful creamsicle splatter. I don't know what you'd call this pattern, but creamsicle.
Yeah, creamsicle splatter. For the record, I was muted.
Yeah, well, Earache is the label that originally put this out and still, I guess, owns the rights. So they put out, by the way, again, I'll say once more, Earache does a fantastic job where they're constantly putting out their whole catalog on new vinyl presses and stuff.
May I sing that song?
No Journey. I've had a rough day.
It's not Journey. It's not Journey. It's Earache.
Oh, sure.
My mama talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. I don't listen to it because my brain is like a sieve.
Is that the Korn version because you had a tracksuit on today, Korn guy?
Wow. We are enemies now.
I love Korn. Anyway, we're gonna do Korn.
I hate Korn.
I know we're gonna do all the bands you hate for the rest of the year. No cap, as your kid would say.
I don't know what no cap means. As long as I get to throw a thing in there every couple of.
Is it Brat? Are we Brat? All these.
Yeah, totally Brat Summer now. So we're Brat Summer.
Brat Summer. All right.
I don't know what that means. I'm old and white.
Beer check, vinyl check, news check. Go ahead, talk about your show.
A couple of things before we get to the Shovelub, previous podcast subject, Shovelub and Friends. I want to point out that King Diamond has announced a tour. It is coming to St. Louis, and I am going to pass. Because when I say it's coming to St. Louis, it's coming to the greater St. Louis area. Notice I used the modifier, the adverb greater. This stuff is literally 30, 35, 40 miles away from me. They're calling it St. Louis. It is not St. Louis. When you were here, you went nowhere near this suburb. It is way, way out there. They've got a nice venue. A lot of good bands play there. But I just don't think I'm doing that. And a friend of the show, Danny Nichols, has a show that night, so he can't make it, and I got no friends to go with, and I just think I'm not doing it. Unless the new album drops before the tour. If the new album drops, I'll go. Second bit of touring news, which is not last night. High on Fire's coming to town. I may be going to that. I may not. Depends. It is in the city. It is at Off-Broadway, which is a wonderful, wonderful venue where I've seen the Toasters. I have seen the Hoot and Hollers. I have seen my good friend Joe Tebow's band, the Finn's Motel. I have seen no metal there, however. Oh, and Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. gonna throw them out there because they're pretty awesome. If you like Depression era blues, anyway. Now for last night, Nick's continuing concert series where he is breaking his own journalistic rule. I'm paying for content. I have no idea how much we spent on that show. Lawyer Wife did not tell me. I know it was a big number. That's all I can tell you for sure. But we saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, if nobody picked up on that. The neat thing about the Red Hot Chili Peppers on this tour is they are playing basically a completely different set list nightly. So we talked about Metallica doing 2 sets. The Red Hot Chili Peppers apparently are doing like 30 different sets. So here's what I saw. You give me a banger or banger or bathroom break. Ready? All right, intro jam.
You'll be sorry asking my
That's fine.
opinion.
You do that. You be you, I'll be me, and we'll be we. Intro jam. Interestingly enough, I went to the bathroom during the intro jam because it was long and irritating. Can't stop. You got to talk.
None of these are good to me. Can't stop.
Scar tissue. Danny, California.
No.
Here Ever After.
No.
Here's Where It Gets Stupid. John Frusciante sings a Ramones tune. I Remember You. It sounded terrible.
No.
Other Side. Eddie. Me and My Friends.
Other Side is okay. Me and My Friends is a banger, and it's old school, so that I like.
That is the oldest of the old school that we're getting this evening. Don't Forget Me. Don't know that one.
Nope.
Danny's song, a Gator Creek cover. Again, John Frusciante sings. Who asked for this?
I mean, he sings better than Kiedis, but that's not saying much. So do you.
Wow, that's mean. That's mean. Moving on, Hard to Concentrate. Don't know that one. Nope. I'm assuming that's on one of the newer ones. Right on Time with the Clash's London Calling intro. I did not notice that. What you thinking?
You didn't even notice.
No. I was drinking.
How good could have been if they can't even get the cover intro right?
Well, I really don't follow the Clash that strongly. I've never actually heard that album all the way through.
Future subject of the Glacially Musical Podcast, The Clash.
Oh, totally. We should totally do The Clash. The great thing about going to concerts with Lawyer Wife is she gets a beer and she'll only get about halfway through it because it gets too warm for her. The thing about a beer is if it gets about 34 or 35 degrees for her, it's too warm. So on my smart days, I get a smaller, heavier beer like a Voodoo Ranger. And
then you finish her beer.
And then I finish her Bud Light or Budweiser. I was stupid last night, so I did we both had the Buds. Shoulda done it. And then I got the Voodoo Ranger after the Bud. I mean, I just totally screwed the pooch on that one. Anywho, where was I?
The amount of alcohol I would have had to consume to enjoy. I love the Chili Peppers to a point, but to enjoy this show, I would have had to be really well inebriated.
I was properly inebriated.
That was classy. I like it.
What?
People listening won't know what you just did, but that was smooth as shit. You just punctuated a sentence with a special effect there. I thought we were watching the Olympics with Gojira again. Oh.
By the way, Dionysus like a motherfucker, bitch.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in a second.
We don't need to talk about it.
We are. No, we didn't. We didn't talk about it at all.
Everyone out. Fine. We will talk about Dionysus in the back of canal.
Chili Peppers. Continue.
Next, so as What You Thinking is going on, Lawyer Wife looks at me and she says, do you know any of these songs? And I went, no, we're in the soft spot. But don't worry, bangers are coming. And how right I was. What they dropped next was Suck My Kiss.
Amazing.
I'm going to point out that Anthony has lost a little bit of that conviction over the years because now he's like 65 and he should be getting a Social Security check. But instead he's writing goofy-ass songs with John Frusciante. And Chad Smith, who looks like an aging Will Ferrell, rather than Will Ferrell, who looks like an old Chad Smith. Moving on, Californication with Jam intro. For the record, I don't need a jam from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Ever.
Yeah.
and I
Tell
don't need two.
Decent song, good lyrics, okay singing, but not one of my favorites.
Californication, it's all right. After like 4 or 5 in a row that I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. It was nice to get familiarized with something. Moving on into What Is Soul, a Funkadelic cover. I don't know that one. Is that on Uplift Mofo Party Plan?
Why would they do? Yeah, that's one of their terrible covers we talked about in their series. Like, why did they cover this and cover it horribly? Like,
I can tell you why it was horribly, because they were on so much cocaine.
These
The dealer got a credit on that record.
these tickets are not cheap. Why are they just
No.
bullshitting around? Like, it's insulting.
All right, moving on. Black Summer, don't know that one.
That's
I'm
the new
guessing it's
single.
up. Is it the new single? It's not garbage. You're garbage.
It's not good. I am garbage, and so are the Chili Peppers.
Okay, Trash Panda.
In 2024, they are literally a feral possum.
Wow.
Continue.
Can they at least be a city feral possum, like not like a forest one, like one that lives in the city and eats like donuts and pizza?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Pizza Rat.
Yes, Pizza Rat. God love Pizza Rat and Space Squirrel and Space Bat. Space Bat. Anybody remember Space Bat, or is that just me? Space Bat was a bat that like hugged onto a rocket ship and made it into space. I presume he immediately died, but good for him.
I mean, can't even imagine.
No, I have nightmares about like holding on to roller coasters where I'm not tucked in, that are loop-de-loops. It never goes well.
Anxiety dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had the best part about that was then we went on the murder bridge in Illinois and Ohio or Kentucky. I don't know. It was the middle of the fucking night. And this bridge, I mean, we called it the murder. All we have to say in our family now is murder bridge. And we all get immediate anxiety, except for the kid who slept through the fucking thing. And I'm still angry because she should have endured that with us. Could have been family bonding. Moving on to the best moment of the show for Nick. My favorite Red Hot Chili Pepper song. I will give you $25.78 if you can guess it. I will give you a hint. It is a title track.
You already said "Suck My Kiss," so
not a title track.
They did Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
I'm not answering any questions.
A song. Just go. We don't have a lot of time. Just spit it out.
It is By the Way.
Ew.
I love that song. Ugh. That is the Red Hot Chili Peppers' perfect song in my mind, because that song has everything they've ever done, including be terrible about California. Moving on to the encore, which was Under the Bridge and Give It Away. Give It Away, again, lacking conviction. One of my coworkers today, I told him, yeah, we saw the Shubbalub last night. He's like, Shubbalub? What's Shubbalub? And I'm like, just start singing Shubbalubba. He's like, yeah. And eventually, within 30 to 40 seconds, you'll be singing a Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
I knew you were going to do this, and I should have coached you on this. What are you supposed to say every time you say this word? It is trademarked and is not yours.
Trademarked by Curtis Dunlap, recent subscriber.
It's not yours. It's not yours to just bandy about in public and not give credit, man.
All right, Curtis Dunlap. I'm giving you all the credit because
you should say sorry right now.
I apologize to not giving Curtis Dunlap the credit.
All right.
I should have given him the credit. I thought it was
with this intention.
I thought it was in the public domain. I was wrong.
You know, okay, it's fair. Not. We've had this conversation many times.
And I drink when we do these podcasts.
So true. Yeah. Heavily.
So Tyler looks at me and he goes, Shubbalub, 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 something California. And I go, dude, right there. The song just wrote itself.
It's pretty much every Chili Pepper song.
And he just giggled. Now, real quick, I want to just point out the difference in set list. So
what was the encore? What was it?
Yeah, under the bridge and give it away. And give it away.
Oh God, what a terrible show.
That was a great show. Now I'm gonna give you, and I'm gonna throw at you.
Wait. That's a great show to you.
It was fun.
With a bunch of duds and new songs and random weird covers and John Frusciante singing 2 songs. You just rattle off like 13 songs.
19.
That many?
It was 19, yeah.
It's a lot of bullshit in there. Like,
well, there was some bullshit that took it down to like 15. Really,
that show compared to the Metallica show, how? Like,
oh God, that's not fair.
I mean, it's the similar show.
That's like saying compare me physically to Chris Hemsworth on point for Thor. It's not fair. The Red Hot Chili Peppers have never been about the
What?
live show.
Why is he holding me? Tell me quickly.
Do not fillet the hologram. I can't believe I have to say this. Do not objectify the hologram. Only my wife can objectify me. I have no say in that, but I do have a say in this.
Fair enough.
Moving on. Let me just throw out the previous night's set list, and I'll run through it real quick.
Very fast, please. We're running out of time.
Intro Jam, Can't Stop, Scar Tissue, Here Ever After, Danny California, Throw Away Your Television, I Remember You, Eddie, Soul to Squeeze, Me and My Friends, Havana Affair, What You Thinkin', Suck My Kiss, Tell Me Baby, Californication, Black Summer, By the Way, I Could Have Lied and Give It Away. They have also played Sir Psycho Sexy on this tour. I mean, they are going through crazy, crazy amounts of set lists, and I mean they're going through crazy numbers. So I love the fact how far they're digging on this. So that is my news for the week. You're up.
Okay.
It was a fun ass show. I had a great day, a great time, and there was good beer and great company. And the Japanese punk band that opened up for them, oh my God, let's not even go. I'm a weeaboo, and I couldn't remotely get behind it.
I would not go to this tour if you paid me. It sounds terrible. I love the Chili Peppers growing up. I have broke the tape of Mother's Milk in high school. I played it so much. I tried to play Higher Ground and smashed every low bass string I had.
Did not play that song last night.
Of
Still
course not.
angry.
They don't really play it much anymore. To me, that's a bad set list that does a disservice to fans, and I'm angry that you sat through it and enjoyed it. Your tastes are different than mine. What can I say? That's why we like it. That's why
I genuinely tend to like later albums by bands.
If I wanted to go fuck myself, I would, but I don't. I like people with differing bodies and opinions, and so
I like it when bands get to the point that they just don't give a crap and they just play whatever they want to play.
I don't know.
That's like my jam.
That's whack as fuck. Anyway, fan service all day. And you know what's fan servicey? Speaking of news, Deadpool. Deadpool came out. We've been talking about this thing for 2 years.
Oh,
and it was so good. I'm not going to spoil it because
my popcorn got real salty at the end of that movie.
It's my dick in a box. There's still people who haven't seen it. It made $500 million so far. It's definitely going to pass a B. I don't know. I've seen it 3 times already.
For an R-rated movie.
I've seen it 3 times, and I'm probably going to see it at least 2 more because
I've only seen it once, but Lawyer Wife had a ticket. I'm going to go again with my best friend. He'll have a ticket, so I will have paid for 4 tickets.
Well, it's excellent. They did a great job. I don't know if it's going to hold up in the future. And then this idea, I love, obviously Deadpool. Everybody loves Wolverine. A lot of the digs were extremely poignant, but I will say that in terms of saving the Marvel Universe, just really quick for nerd fans, Marvel has a lot of finished things in the can that we haven't seen yet that my hopes are very low for. So unfortunately, except for What If the next season and the Cap movie with Anthony Mackie and Red Hulk,
What is a Red Hulk?
I'll answer your question offline. Things that we may still see.
Oh, so it's sexy.
Things that we may still see this year are, I don't know how good they're going to be. There's a lot of stuff they did already when they were cutting corners and not doing a great job. So we'll see. I'm very encouraged by Comic-Con. Also, the major nerd news is that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to play Victor Von Doom in the next 2 Avengers movies, and people are divided about it. I think it's
I want View Askews Brian Johnson to play Victor Von Doom.
No, you need a good actor.
That's fair.
Tell him, Steve Dave, he's not the guy. No.
I know.
I wanted Giancarlo Esposito, but he's already playing the villain in the next Cat movie, so he's out. No, Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor, and he was great in Oppenheimer as basically the villain of Oppenheimer.
I didn't know. I have not seen Oppenheimer. One of my coworkers that asked me if I'd seen it, and I have not seen it.
You are screwing up your life because alternate Black Widow is naked through most of the movie. Anyway. Florence Pugh.
I'm married. I'm good.
No. Florence Pugh is a treasure, especially undressed. And then let's see what else. It's really not a lot going on. You dropped the two things I was going to talk about: King Diamond and
High
High
on
on
Fire.
Fire. So that's Undeath announced their new album and announced a tour also. So I'm excited about a new Undeath album.
I am still angry at myself for not having purchased their Black Friday Record Store Day release because it was a live record recorded in St. Louis.
I know, I
I
know.
should have purchased that, and if I come across it, I will buy it.
You probably will. I can't imagine that many people have it. That is kind of my news. I don't know if you want me to kill some time and try to find something else to talk about. Metallica this weekend. Metallica's final leg of the M72 tour is this weekend. Starts this weekend in Boston. At this point, unless a miracle happens, I am not going to get to see one of these shows. So our time.
You saw two. You already saw two.
I saw three.
Okay, three. It's like more than two.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gone one more time. Because I get this feeling that they're not coming back, or they're not coming back for a while, if they come back at all.
We have discussed this at length for a long time. I really think that we are very much at the end. I would love one more record.
I think we'll get a record. I don't know how much more touring they're going to do.
I think their touring is going to be very, very minimal going forward, just because it takes, we're not talking about, Kiss talks about, we wear all this makeup and gear and blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, great, but you just stand there for the most part.
That's
You do
not true.
one, that is true. You do one kick at the beginning, you do a bippity boppity, and then for the rest of
we're
it,
all zip lined around. I mean, they're not standing still. I think that's inaccurate, sir. Gene, by the way, speaking of Kiss, since we're now we can't have a show without a Kiss update.
How could we?
Kicked off his solo headline tour, his first solo headline tour since the end of Kiss. He's played a one-off warm-up show already. Now he's played his first show. I don't think it's worth remarking about the set list. I have no interest in seeing Gene or Paul solo. Maybe if Paul got his voice together, I'd consider it, but no.
He's never getting his voice together. I'm going to mention Danny Nichols, friend of the show, yet again, because he accidentally bought a second ticket to see Gene Simmons when he was in town. So he gave it to me. He was kind enough to give me the ticket. And for that, I am eternally grateful. And I have to say, that show was really, really good. Gene played a lot of deep cuts, a lot of cool stuff, and he was all over the place. But as the Gene Simmons band continued, he started like kind of kicking anything rare off the island, and it started becoming more and more just, oh, look, it's the songs I've been singing in Kiss for the past 35 years. And then it's like, well, why am I spending $60 to come see you to get a crappy Kiss tribute show?
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, I have no interest. And of course, I have no interest in ever seeing Ace again. And
I really want to see Ace again. Let me rephrase. I really want to go again. He's been back 2 or 3 times, I believe, and each time he comes, I'm like, you know what? I need to miss you a bit more. I haven't missed you enough, and I haven't seen you in 10 years, but I need a little bit more time away. I still need time away, so he gonna die before it happens again.
God damn. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he's in his mid-70s, and can you honestly, have you seen him lately?
No.
Oh, it's if I lost 40 pounds between now and 2 weeks from now, what would you be thinking when you saw me?
I'd be concerned for you, yeah.
That's what Ace Frehley is. He's lost like 40 pounds. He is probably 10 to 15 pounds away from 1975 weight.
Maybe he's soberish.
He's always been sober-ish.
Mm.
I don't believe he's sober.
I believe our guest has entered the chat, so I don't know if you want to do the glow up now or do the glow up when they join.
Oh my God. Breaking fourth wall, Deadpool. Hit pause on the recording, Wade.
Deadpool. Oh,
Bolivian marching powder? They know all the terms.
I can't. I want
I
to, but I
want to, but I can't.
so
Kevin
many good
Feige
things.
said it's the one thing we can't do.
Leslie Uggams is a treasure, man. I
Oh
saw
my
her.
God, I want her to have a Blind Al movie where she gets a superpower
I
of just
want
being able to smart off at people.
I think a Deadpool Christmas special, not a re-edit for Christmas, but a Deadpool actual Christmas special starring Blind Owl would be insane. Like Blind Owl's heart grows 2 sizes, like she's the Grinch. Leslie
One of the
Uggams.
absolute greatest lines from that whole movie, and I don't think this is a spoiler, is wait, your roommate is blind and you
Yes,
call her Blind
Blind Owl.
Al?
Yes, yes, yes. Great.
That's just, I mean, that's when Deadpool and Wolverine of other alternate universes, I think we all know that, are getting to know each other. And I mean, that movie, oh my God, I'm gonna
One
stop
second.
before I spoil.
What the shit?
All righty. Thank you, Finger Fudgers, for sticking with us. We are joined by a former DJ, a current music journalist, a current giant hockey fan, whom I have been speaking with about hockey for the past, 12 years, I think, on the Twitters. Won't call it X. Go to hell, Elon Musk. And somebody who still gets involved in the metal scene, in all the music and all the business. We are joined by Sue Ring from Seattle, Washington. Thank you for joining us today, Sue. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
It is Wednesday as we record this. Last night, as the listeners already know, I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers for the third time in my life, and it was the second best show of theirs I have seen. The first best was with Dave Navarro, I Will Die on This Hill.
When did you see them with Dave Navarro? I think I saw the same tour.
1995 or 6. At that time, I was a very young man who did not have a bald spot, who had no gray hairs in his eyebrows, working at his first job at the then Kiel Center, now Enterprise Center, where the St. Louis Blues play. And I got to
Nice.
see actually a lot of really cool shows in the 2 years I was there, including Robert Plant and Jimmy Page on their first Page and Plant tour.
Oh, wow.
But the coolest show I saw in during that tenure when I worked there was I saw Frank Sinatra. So you know that like everyone has seen that meme where on Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media that you're on where it says name 3 concerts you've been to, but one is a lie, right?
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell everybody what my lie is. It's Merciful Fate.
Really?
I've never seen Merciful Fate. I've
They
seen
are
two.
so good in concert. I saw them in 1985.
I regret not seeing them in 1994 because that was the last time they have been here. Now, in fairness, I've seen King Diamond twice, but I
Mhm.
always say Merciful Fate, Frank Sinatra, and then somebody else. I
Yeah.
have seen Frank Sinatra because I worked at the arena where he played. In 1994 or 5, again, we're talking about 30 years ago, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I saw Frank Sinatra on the last time he came to St. Louis, and it was one of the most awful things I have ever seen.
Oh, should he have called it quits before then?
He should have called it quits in about 1987, based on what I saw. But
Yeah.
we could go on and on and on and on about all this business, but let's talk about Jonny and Marsha Zazula as we are in the spot in the Metallica series on the Glacially Musical podcast where we are remembering where Metallica said goodbye to the Zazulas and joined Q Prime and moved on to Elektra. So, what? Give me one story to begin with. And my interview style is just basically have a conversation and see where it goes. But I'm going to throw it at you because I'm bad at this. So give me one
Let's
good story that
okay. Here is a story that really shows John and Marsha's heart. I moved to the US in 1983 from Germany, where I went to high school. My dad was in the army. 1984, I got a job. I got my own show on a little radio station on the Jersey Shore called WVRM. It was out of Hazlet, New Jersey. And they moved me around all over the place. I started out at midnight and I had half an hour. So I was taking my own records, like Def Leppard and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, what was out at the time.
That is
But
awesome. It reminds me a lot of when I was in high school, because you're a little older than I am. When I was in high school, living in suburban, exurban, rural Illinois, we had a college radio station on the community college called 89.9 WLCA, Lewis and Clark Community College. Everything in St. Louis is Lewis and Clark, just in case you
yeah,
didn't know. And there was a 6-hour show on Thursdays called The Mosh. So we had Tuesday nights for Monday Night Metal, 10 to midnight, and then we had The Mosh on Thursdays, 6 to 12, and that was where we got our metal in the 80s and 90s. And I got to be not close. I mean, as close as you could be without knowing somebody in the 90s before
yeah.
social media. With the DJ for The Mosh, he was in a metal band called Cottonmouth. And yeah, same. He brought a lot of his own CDs and stuff into the station each week. And he was always kind enough to talk to me and take my requests.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, during that time, I went to go see a show at, I want to say it was Roseline Ballroom in New York City. It was,
Oh my God, don't make me jealous. That's not fair.
well, this is why, as older folk, we had that, I don't know the word for it, but it was Metallica, Anthrax, and Raven. And at the time, Anthrax
I've
was
heard
the
of
opener.
all of those bands, just for the record.
Well, so I went to the show. Anthrax had Neil Turbin as their singer, their original. He had the most powerful voice, although I think that when Joey Belladonna joined him, they got more personality because Joey's very personable.
Joey
But
created the original non-Metallica Slayer Megadeth thrash vocal sound.
yes, he really did. Neil was like in your face, metal, has the pipes. He still sings out on the West Coast and he has a radio show. But saw them. Metallica had Kill 'Em All, and then Raven was touring with All for One. So it was Kill 'Em All for One. And those two bands had toured, but they blew me away. I'm here, I'm listening to Iron Maiden and AC/DC, and then I go to this show and I remember not sleeping, and then I had to go in and do my show, and I was raving about them. And one of the listeners said, "Hey, I can introduce you to their record label, their managers." And so he drove me to this flea market in New Jersey, in New Brunswick. And it's like all these vendors and things like that. And then you go around this corner and there's this one little thing. They've got stacks of records and it's just John and Marsha. And, I met them and I said, hey, I had this little show, WVRM. It's really not that big.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So not only did you see Metallica and Raven on the Kill 'Em All for One tour, you went to Rock and Roll Heaven in New Jersey.
Well, not Rock and Roll Heaven wasn't there yet. It was a flea. At first, John and Marsha were out of a flea market in New Brunswick. It was
I thought that was Rock and Roll Heaven. No,
no. Rock and Roll Heaven came a little later, and it was up in Wayne, New Jersey. But so here are these two people. They don't know me from Adam. I could be telling them a lie, but they said, you know what? Here's some records. I said I went to go see Metallica, Anthrax, and Raven. Loved them. They gave me albums. So I got those albums, and then they were like, here, can you play Venom? Here's TT Quick. Here's, these other bands. I left with a bag of records that I didn't pay for. And
for the record, before today, I had street cred.
Yeah.
Now I don't. You have just thrown away all my street cred. Continue.
But that's how they were. So then I went, I was so excited. On the show, I talked about them. I talked about the Route 18 flea market. They actually listened. So then they were like, I went back to the flea market. They loved it. So they kept getting records in and they're like, here, can you play this? And so I just started saying, this show's sponsored by Megaforce Records, which is at Route 18 flea market. And then I don't remember when they opened Rock and Roll Heaven because my brain's a little hazy, but it got to the point where they had enough money to open this store. So that was up in northern New Jersey, but it was really fun because they had one guy who managed it. His name was Brian Nyers. Awesome, awesome guy. And when you went up to Rock and Roll Heaven, you never knew who was going to be hanging out behind the counter with Brian. So it could be Lars, it could be Kirk, it could be what was his name? One of the guitarists from Overkill, who's not with them anymore, but
Keefy would know.
long
Who is
hair.
it, Keefy?
What's his name? Bobby Gustafson. Bobby Gustafson worked there a lot. Like you walk in and see Bobby. All these, I don't think Bobby Blitz ever did. I mean, they did in stores, but so all these bands that were kind of getting buzz in the tri-state area were there, and John and Marsha treated every band as though they were their kids. I remember I was in a Raven music video. I was just in a crowd scene, but they had a song called On and On. And it was in some huge warehouse. And John and Marsha especially, she made sure everybody was okay. With freezing to death, but she would come and bring us blankets, water, coffee, whatever. But that's how I got to know them. I kept doing my radio show. I moved around time slots. So I moved off Sundays at midnight to Mondays at 10 p.m. And people were listening to me, and I sounded like I was a 12-year-old girl playing heavy metal. So people would go to Rock and Roll Heaven and say, what about this chick that plays metal? So they never knew my name. They just knew chick that plays metal. So from that time, I have a poster from Metallica thanking me for the radio, and they call me Sue No E because my name is SU. But
That sounds very familiar to somebody who might have less letters in his name than most people do.
yeah, you do. Yeah, so fast forward, like I worked in the recording industry too. I worked for 3 major labels. And then I sang as well. So I was in a heavy metal band because everybody was in a heavy metal band back then. And then I also sang a backup for a folk singer down in Greenwich Village. And as you might in the 80s, working 2 jobs and trying to stay on top of things, you get a little help through substances. And Jonny and Marsha tried to get me out of New York. They wanted me to come to New Jersey, where they finally had an office for Megaforce Records, and I didn't go. And had I gone, my life would be a lot different than what it turned into. So I'm just going to say I ended up leaving New York City and recovering, and then went into a completely different career when I went and got into TV news. And then went to college. Our college in Alabama had a Division I hockey team. I became our school's national anthem
That's
singer.
Birmingham, right? Birmingham?
No, Huntsville, University of Alabama, Huntsville.
Oh, God damn it, anyway.
The Chargers, yes.
Wait, what?
University of Alabama, Huntsville Chargers.
Okay, I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes.
Name a college from St. Louis that plays things.
I don't
Bingo.
know.
Moving on.
Okay. So UAH, that really helped me. I produced a coach's show, met my husband. He ended up working at my TV station. We both went to Miami together, and then we both came to Seattle in 1995, which is where he's from. So I'd lost touch with John and Marsha. Facebook happens. All of a sudden, there's Marsha. And same as ever, Jonny called me. His voice was the same as ever. All they wanted to know was that I was okay. And they were so proud of whatever it is that I was doing. I'd post it on Facebook and they'd call and say, we're so fucking proud of you. Oh, sorry. We're so proud of you.
No,
Please
no.
edit that out.
Literally, the tagline of this show is beer, metal, and swearing.
Okay.
No, it's
Because
fine.
that's how they were, And Jonny, Jonny gives me partial credit for Metallica ending up on Elektra, and it started back in 1985 when one of my friends at a record company was looking for a heavy metal band to shop. And I introduced him to Jonny, and the two of them started talking. And the original deal didn't end up happening because the label was not interested in heavy metal at the time. This was before the whole hair metal thing happened. And then there was a guy at Elektra who, his name is Michael Alonso. Hold on, I have to double check here. His name was, and he was like this little guy with such an ear.
Friend of the show, Michael Alago. And so,
Everyone's not, you know what? He's good friends with friend of the show, Nelly.
well, okay. Michael Alago is actually a friend to me, and we're trying to get him on as a guest in the future. But I was going to say,
decided every celebrity is a friend of the show.
I'll just check.
I never met him.
Yeah,
I never met him.
He's wonderful, great guy.
Yeah.
I would tell you, so you were at that Kill 'Em All for One show at Roseland, a place I went to many times as a former resident of New York City and a lifetime New Yorker.
Wait, Keefy, you're from New York? When did this come up?
Yeah, a million times. Sue,
did you go to Lemoore too? You kind of look like Jonny.
Oh my God! Do not encourage Keefy.
So. Well, I was going to say Sue understood your sarcasm, so I'm ready to retire as co-host and just give it over to Sue because she actually got your jokes, Nick, instead of me, because I'm always like, sarcasm what? And
that makes her a complete anomaly. My best friend cannot tell when I'm being sarcastic. My wife still gets angry at me when I drop the sarcasm because it's so deadpan.
It is deadpan.
I don't want somebody to know what it is. That bothers me.
But just to say, so Michael was also at that Roseland show you were at, Sue, and
he was at that.
He was at that show. He hung out with them backstage. He met them, and that's when he decided, oh, this band is going to be. I'm going to make them into the hugest thing in the world. And I mean, like, we're going to talk about it with him, hopefully, but I was going to say, like, he literally signed them at that show.
And hopefully Metallica will get there one of these days.
And then, maybe one day we'll hear about them more. But I was going to say, I met John. I was lucky enough to meet John and Marsha many times. Their daughter, Ricky, who probably was a baby when you knew them, was in the music publicity world for many years and is not now, but still pops up once in a while. And I interviewed Jonny for his memoir because Jonny and I are from the same, like 3 neighborhoods apart from in the Bronx.
Wait. You are not from Old Bridge.
No, not Old Bridge, the Bronx, where Jonny's from.
Oh, where Jonny's from. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I was from Old Bridge. I spent many times at Old Bridge, but not like I'm a little it was a little later than that time. I didn't start going to Roseland until like 1990, 89, 90.
Everybody cares so much about what New York neighborhood they're from.
Yeah, exactly. Well, very nationalistic, and nationalism is a thing you didn't have a say in, so it's always.
Did you go to Lemoore? Did you hang out at Lemoore too?
I wouldn't say I hung out. I went a few times to each Lemoore. There was 2 of them: the main Brooklyn one and the Staten Island one.
Well, before that, it was one in Brooklyn, one in Queens, and then Staten Island's place was called something like October's.
Yeah,
but then I think they made it into a Lemoore.
They made it into.
I think I predate you guys by about 10 or 15 years.
It's okay. We're not.
I'm only about 35.
We're all
35.
Be quiet, Nick.
You're 35. I just turned 60.
Oh,
I'm 48.
Yeah. You're getting better, not older. Anyway, Sue, super fascinating, and I also like. There's a lot of one-to-ones here. You're like our tribe because we have a lot of stuff in common, and I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that they were wonderful because they were wonderful. I got to interview Jonny a couple of years before he passed, and for his memoir because again, we're from a similar neighborhood.
And I love that I had the audio version because I want to hear his voice.
Right, of course.
He tells you the story.
That is beautiful. Beautiful.
That's great. Yeah.
He so you've talked to him, basically what you see is what you get with Jonny. There's no pretense, there's no, and they've never been like that. And Marsha was always a mom to everybody, and if that meant getting strict, she got strict. But
so she Bill Graham to them.
She was, some people were like, oh, you're too strict. And I'm like, dude, I came from a Korean household. I turned out quite well, I think, except for my misfortunes in New York City in the 80s. But it was really interesting to see. And I remember Jonny meeting up with the guy that I had introduced him to, Bob Cottarella, who's a producer now in LA, when they were thinking about finding new homes for Metallica, Raven, and Anthrax. And I think like they had conversations. I don't know how much Bob had to do with it, but at that time we were so excited because Metallica went to Elektra, Raven went to Atlantic, and then Anthrax went to Island Records. I think out of the three of them, Metallica had the best backing, but like you said, Keith, having Michael in your corner is like having a juggernaut in your corner. And I don't think that the other two bands had that. Although Anthrax, I think, enjoyed some longevity and success, even though they switched singers a lot. Raven, unfortunately, I think they were the first casualty of that because they only lasted, I think, 2 albums on Atlantic, and then they had to go their own way. But
I think
I just saw
Raven
them.
never really knew where they fit.
They never knew where they fit. They had management who really, I don't think they knew how to handle taking it to the next step. Although Tony worked
They were
very, very hard. He worked so hard for them, but you know, unless you have somebody who has that bigger picture, next step in their mind, like
with
Metallica did and
right,
Anthrax
right.
did.
With Raven, they were trying to pigeonhole, trying to squeeze them into the Quiet Riot kind of silly heavy metal of 1982, 1983,
Yes.
whereas they should have pushed them towards the Iron Maiden lane.
Well, yeah, where they are, I just saw them about 6 months ago, and that's one band I've kept up with. John and Mark Gallagher are two very, very dear friends, and they work their butts off. And it's kind of sad sometimes to see them. And I feel this way about Anvil too. And I know there was a documentary about Anvil about how, like, when all these bands were out, I mean, like Anvil, Exciter, My Brain has holes in it, but all these bands that were like heavy bands in the 80s, I'm not talking about Poison and, you know, that lot. There were all these bands that kind of had some measure of success. And Anvil, we thought Anvil was the next band to make it, and they never did. And I don't know if you've seen that documentary about them, but it's really kind of sad.
I have not, but it's when you look at this era of heavy music, because we had basically heavy metal starts in 1970, as I think we can all agree on ish. And
Mhm.
for the first 10 years of the genre, it was very much weird.
Yeah.
There was no lanes, there was no delineation. And then we hit 1980, 1981, where Def Leppard, Judas Priest, Tigers of Pantang, Diamond Head, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, all these bands are coming to America, and they're completely splitting off from everything Americans knew as heavy metal, which of course was Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
And that's when things get weird. And how do you promote your Nawabum band? Oh, I know. Put them in jock straps and goalie masks. That'll make everybody take them seriously.
Well, because Rob Hunter, the drummer, he already had this
Goalie mask and
reputation
jock
for
strap.
being right goalie mask, jockstrap, beating the crap out of his drums. You know, they put explosives in his helmet so that they would blow up. And I mean, they tried everything. I think it was like throwing the kitchen sink at him.
So they were
And
Thunderstick but crazy.
yes,
Well,
I think that
here's a question, Sue. Let me ask you,
yeah.
because this is your scene and your time. Is why did it work for Wasp and not Raven? I think it's better songs.
I
Oh
think
my God,
that
I would so agree with Keefy right now. Not tomorrow, but right now. Keefy.
Raven was pigeonholed into a box that they didn't belong in. I think Raven was more of a speed metal type band. If you listen to their old stuff and you listen to their more recent stuff, but there was that time that they were trying to make you fit the mold of the flavor of the year. And Wasp was always what Wasp was. They were in your face, you know, crazy outfits, using all kinds of utensils as, accoutrements on their bodies and being filthy. I mean, that's what they were they knew they knew what they wanted. They knew how to go for it.
That is
Yes.
literally the best description of Wasp I have ever heard. And I'm tangentially friends with one of their bass players, not named Blackie Lawless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw them and they were, to me, they reminded me of, Kiss. Anytime they play, I'm gonna go see them. They were my first best band,
okay,
but
you
it was
are a
like
guest. You don't get to say unkind words about Kiss. Only I do.
I'm not saying unkind words. I'm saying,
Okay.
to me, when I saw Wasp in concert, it was like, you know how dirty old man Gene Simmons can get.
Oh my God, I
Blackie
wish he would not,
can-
and I wish we weren't talking about it now.
No, sorry.
No, it's fine. We should. I just wish we didn't have
Hey,
to.
hey, Nick, do you know what time it is?
It's time to fuck you, Keefy. Fuck you.
When I saw you coming out of school.
Oh
that day.
no.
This is my
Eat yourself.
go-to. It's
Eat
my
your own
go.
Keefy.
Every time Gene
no.
comes up, I just bring that in. He told us who he was in 1975. Don't
I
be
know.
mad.
I volunteer for sexual violence against women. Fuck you, Keefy. Don't mention my hypocrisy.
But I love Kiss. I think they have
So
one
do
of the
I.
best shows. I'm glad that I saw them back in the 80s. I'm glad I saw them, just last year. I'm glad that they're still doing it. They're still out there. And
The
I'm
weird thing with
starting.
Kiss for me is I
Mhm.
only saw them in makeup after the non-makeup era, which I think is nuts.
I remember in junior high buying these magazines, and they always had they'd have them like with these bandanas across their faces and this whole mysterious.
I
What do they look
remember
like
those
behind
things.
the?
I
I hated when they took the makeup off because I said, now the magic is gone. We've seen the wizard behind the curtain.
I wasn't old enough to know that, but I can remember specifically a 1978 interview and I was born in 75, late 75, but I can specifically remember an interview. It was a radio interview that was filmed. Ace was wearing an astronaut helmet with a silver Lone Ranger mask, and Paul was wearing a bandana. And I don't know why I remember that, and I really shouldn't because that would have come out when I was 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are now going on, and Sue, frankly, oh my God, stop, Keefy. I see those text messages.
I just want to say
Jesus
one more thing
Christ.
about John and
Please do.
Marsha. Okay, so John and Marsha. So I hadn't seen them since the early 90s. Another guess, I'm going off on a tangent. If you have not had Maria Ferrero on your show, do you even have a show? Do you know who
That's
she
a
I
good
is?
know
point.
her. We
Maria's-
both know her.
Maria's a friend.
She is one of my dearest friends from back
She
then.
emails me, but she doesn't listen to me.
Maria was like, come to my house and watch the new metal TV show that I produced for MTV. And I was like,
know.
I live in San Francisco. I can't come to New Jersey.
Oh,
yet."
for me, it's who do you write for?
Right, I know.
When I
be
email her,
nice.
it's who do you write for? No,
Be
that's what
nice.
happened.
We can get Maria on easily if you want to.
When
Oh my God, I'd
when
love to.
Maria and I met, she was a teenager. She was so cool. She was like the coolest person that I ever met. I mean, we hung out. We had some very eclectic friends in our friend group, but nobody was cookie cutter in our friend group. But Maria was like the biggest badass at 16, and she still continues to be the biggest badass. And so much respect for her. I got to see her 2 years ago when I went home to New Jersey to help clean out my dad's house after he passed. And she kept texting me, can I come over and hug you? And I was in a really, really bad place. But she finally said, come on, let's go walk on the beach. And so I went and I met her. And we just walked the boardwalk and then we just had breakfast. And she was telling me things that we had done in the 80s that I don't remember. So, at the end, it was really great because I was having a nervous breakdown going through all my dad's stuff. But we keep in touch. She is an incredible human being. Like you said, come to my house. She said, you want to come next time you come to Jersey? You don't want to stay with your family? Come stay at my place. if I'm out of town, I'll tell you how to get the key. You know, that's Maria, and especially if she likes you. But yeah, total respect. John and Marsha, so they started calling together, and we were talking and we would talk, and they would always say, like a parent, sorry. They'd always say, we're so proud of you and how you turned out. And they didn't tell me that anything was wrong. And then Marsha passed, and I knew those phone calls mean so much to me because they could have, you disappeared from our lives in the 90s. What do we want to do with you? But they're like, no, you are we love you. You will always be special. And then she passed, and Jonny said the conversation she really enjoyed. She knew she was not going to be around for much longer, so she was calling people that she loves. And Jonny was the same way, you know. I apologize for crying.
No
I'm
need
such
to
a
cry.
baby.
No,
No.
sorry for your loss, and both of them, and three of them, and I've been there
People who
myself.
knew them throughout that time. I mean, imagine the deeper loss. I felt thankful that even after this huge gap away, they still considered me one of theirs. And that's who John and Marsha were.
I am just some rando dude in the middle of the country. And there's nothing more I would have loved to have been able to know John and Marsha, to have been to one of the Kill 'Em All for One shows. I was 7 years old on that tour. And the fact that, I mean, you and I have been going back and forth on the Twitters for a very long time.
Yes.
And I am so thankful that you were able to make the time for us. And I am so thankful that you were willing to be real and really give more than what we have. You know, Keefy and I think I don't think it's unfair or out of bounds to say that Keefy and I know a couple of things about metal. We both been there for a long time. You got there before us, and I am so grateful for what you are able to give that we don't have.
If you haven't read Heavy Tales, read it. Get the audiobook because you kind of feel like it's John's memoir.
I
Get
have
the
not
audio
read
version
that. I will read that.
Yeah, read it, and not read it, listen to it. Let him tell you his story in his words.
That's beautiful.
I wish that Michael would do an audio version of his book because it is really powerful as well.
I think
Michael, I've never met.
in the works.
I've never met him. I wish I could meet him, but
You might.
He
one of the
most
lot.
uplifting people on Instagram. Like I follow him, and there are days when I'm just like, F this. And then I see his posts, and it's usually he posts something that will help. He's just seems like the most uplifting person I've ever not met.
Hey,
Sue.
Fun fact. Hey, Nick, hold on a second. Fun fact. In my first interview with Michael, he cried his eyes out talking to me.
Did he
and
really?
I've cried in interviews. I've had
Keefy makes me cry too.
I made multiple people cry. It's okay. You know, feelings are, you need your feelings. They help us get through life. And I agree with you. I think actually the audiobook is fantastic on Heavy Tales. And I'm glad I got to meet them and know Jonny and have that interview with him. And I'm glad for that time. I was going to ask you if you also knew, probably not, Slayer's publicist and briefly Metallica's publicist after Maria was Heidi Fitzgerald. She's still in the game.
I don't know.
Yeah, to this day, she's still Slayer's publicist. So I didn't know if you
actually no. You know what? I met her because I was working at I worked at a TV station here, King 5, the NBC station, for 22 years. My final 8 years there before I left to become a high school teacher, I worked on a TV talk show. So I saw
Sue, literally, you need to stop being so awesome. You need to save a little bit of amazing for someone else. You are just a delight. And oh my God, really? I mean, you're gonna say something else that's amazing. Go ahead.
Well, Slayer, I don't even remember. I think I
There you go. She
contacted
said
the
Slayer.
publicist.
Slayer's
They were
amazing.
they were playing at this amphitheater, and and it was their final tour. This was like saying this was their final tour. And so I emailed and I said, I saw Slayer for the first time in 1985 at Lemoore. I don't have tickets. It's sold out. I'm just reaching out in case somebody could help. And she actually got me on the list so I could go see the show. So without even knowing who I am. So that's Heidi. I'm very thankful to her for that. Now we know that Slayer, after that, they did decide to tour more. So, but I think that tour, when they thought it was their last tour, I think they put everything into it, and it was such a great show. Just
Sue,
remember, when you feel bad, I'm 10 years older than you, and I just happened to end up, my dad was stationed in New Jersey, so I ended up in New Jersey. And I think I consider myself very, very lucky that I met the people that I met. And looking back now, if I went to a record label and say, "Hey, I've got this radio show," it's at a little radio station in New Jersey, you think they'd give me the time of day? No, they would not give me the time of day. John and Marsha, that first time I had a bag, I could barely carry it, of records that they thought would be great for the show, and they kept doing it and kept doing it, and that's just who they were.
that is absolutely beautiful. And frankly, I could listen to you talk for the next 18 hours. You have some
But
amazing stories, and
you have other things to talk about.
I appreciate you coming on this week. I appreciate you making time for Keefy and myself. And you are now a friend of the show.
Thank you.
You are
I
now
love it.
also a previous podcast subject, Sue Ring. So we record Wednesdays. You
Mhm.
are welcome to send me a message anytime. And you can come talk about whatever ridiculous crap we're talking about. Because
So I have
I
a quick
believe
question for you. Is this your passion, both of you?
is what my
Is your
passion.
podcast, is what you're doing right now, is this your passion?
My passion is one, my wife. I
Yeah.
love my wife in a way that I cannot describe. Second, my daughter. My daughter is
Mhm.
somebody who is truly amazing and truly wonderful, and I will give everything I can to her. Third is music.
Mhm.
Music used to be first, but then other people showed up.
Yeah.
I this past weekend, as I told Keefy, I got another Calyx. So now I have room for 1,600 records that are just mine.
Wow.
Not room for the other 600 that are not mine.
Mm.
So I am sitting in a room with way too many records, way too many shelves, and I am checking tracking information from Japanese for records from coming from Japan
I
on a daily
think that's
basis.
awesome. That is so awesome. And Keefy, I mean, you guys seem very passionate about the show.
Thank you.
I don't
I have nothing else really except music and music journalism. This is all I live for.
I don't do anything half-assed. If
That's
I
fair.
am involved, I'm involved and you get all of me, which is unfortunate for most people.
Well, I may be launching a podcast of my own where I speak with people who are living their passion, who have some outlet that they're so excited about and makes life bearable. So I think just from having this conversation, the two of you are incredibly passionate. And I may be reaching out to you to join me if and when I ever decide to launch it. So I
I
hope you will
will
say yes.
gladly give you all the reach that I have.
Here's some free advice. I've produced like 2,000 podcasts for myself and other
Mhm.
people. Don't wait, just
Yeah.
do it. Just start tomorrow. Don't even wait.
Correct.
You don't
Absolutely
need
correct.
fancy microphones and cameras. You literally can do it with a phone and earbuds and a quiet place.
We did. My friend Cassie and I, back in the 2010, we had a hockey podcast on Blog Talk Radio for 5 years. It was so much fun. And you're right. We had a telephone, a laptop, and I was like the DJ getting people on, but it was so archaic and very beginner. And I've seen so many other ways to make better podcasts now. So, I just have to figure out what my schedule is. Teaching has turned out to be a lot busier than actually working on a talk show.
Yeah, your school year
So-
must just be starting, no?
It's going to be starting at the end of the month, and I teach video production and broadcasting. So,
Amazing.
I
I studied
my
that.
students are
That-
awesome.
I
You
was
did?
I was a marginal journalism, broadcast journalism student, and I
Oh,
ended up.
Keefy's gonna talk about Keefy
Wait,
things
you
now.
were-
No, I'm not. I'm not.
What,
I was-
really, you're not. That's all
Oh,
you do.
I mean, like, you didn't need to interject and keep dogging me, but okay. I
do
yes.
that because I love you.
I doubt it. That's what they all say. Anyway, I wish someone would love me the way I love music. But anyway, it's not meant for this lifetime, I guess. Yeah, I was a broadcast journalism major in the 90s.
Mhm.
When I had bands. I also played in metal bands for a long time, and then
Yeah.
I went back to school for business management and advertising, which I'm also marginally successful or unsuccessful at, depending on how the glass is half full or empty. So I have music, and that's what I do. But yeah,
Same.
Yeah.
I have
Music
I
is-
have a successful wife though, so I got that going for me.
Well, my husband, who worked for a regional sports network here for 22 years, just got hired by the Kraken to be their lead broadcast editor. So we're really, really excited.
Oh my God,
Like-
can he be my friend?
He could be your friend.
Oh, that'd be
In fact, I
awesome.
wish. You know what? I'm going to turn on my camera because I'm in his studio right now.
We are recording, just so
So-
we're recording. So if you do that, people will see you.
I guess
I'm letting
whatever.
you know. I don't want
Oh.
no surprises.
It doesn't let me. Okay. Anyway, I'll show you. I'll post pictures. He's awesome. He is the most talented editor I've ever known. And when the Kraken came after him, I said, "You know what? You're the league's oldest rookie, and I'm so excited for you."
That is
Because that's-
one of my wife's
yeah.
many cousins or second cousins, or I don't know. You don't know St. Louis, and that's fine. Nobody does. It's not from here. We're very Catholic. She is one of 26 cousins, and like one of a cousins of a cousins of a cousins works for the Blues as a video editor. At the time, he got hired by the minor league team we had, the CHL, St. Charles Chill, and they asked him, "Do you want to come work for the Blues?" He's like, "Screw you guys, St. Charles. I'm going back to the big town." I don't
Yeah.
know him or his name. He's never met me, so.
It's great. I'm Irish Catholic on my dad's side, Buddhist on my mom's side.
Yeah,
Korean
don't
and
mind
Buddhist
us.
on my mom's side.
We're agnatheist.
Yeah, I am just me.
I appreciate that. Is
Yeah.
there anything else we should know right now before you come back next time? Because you have a literal open invite. I gave the same thing to Keefy. Now we have a show.
Can I tell you, when I was a teenager and when we moved back to the States, and I wanted to move to New York City, I didn't have a job. I worked at a Chinese takeout. But I got a job at a record company as a receptionist, and then just didn't look back. My dad was always like, try anything once that you want to do, so you never look back and go, darn, I wish I had done that. And I wish that I hadn't tried some things, but I think that having been through that really helped create the person that I am now. But my dad really encouraged me to just go for whatever. Singing in a heavy metal band, all right, I'll drive you to practice because you don't drive. Working at a record company, okay, I'm going to send you food because I know you don't make a lot of money. Waitressing, be careful. I drove a cab, and that was where he said, "No, I wish you wouldn't drive cabs late at night." But I wanted to know what it was like to drive a cab. So I just give him so much love and respect. He was always my cheerleader. And I just say, if you have a young one, I mean, it's hard. And I know it's hard for my dad because I kind of dove into things before looking. So yeah, that's it. That's why my life has been interesting. And I just happened to be at a time where things were happening music wise, and I got to be part of that for on a small scale and just watch it happen. So that's it.
That is truly amazing. You have made me feel small as a music journalist, small as somebody who loves music, and small as a father. I hope
Don't.
I'm teasing, I'm teasing. I hope to achieve the level that your father did for you because that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I actually told my kid today, I texted her this morning saying, "Hey, I saw a girl at the concert that looked like you 5 years from now." Her response was, "That's great, Dad." That's basically her response to everything.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Sue, I greatly appreciate you making some time for us. I greatly appreciate your stories, your life, your earlier times, your East Coaster, however you want to describe it. That is the kind of wonderful thing that so many of us, especially those of us in flyover country, Keefy, really, really wish we had an opportunity for. And the fact that you were willing to come here and share it for us is wonderful and amazing.
Well, thank
I
you for
have,
having me.
you are welcome to come back. You are well versed. You are well informed. Just say the word and you can come back.
Okay. Thanks a lot. It was
Thank
nice to
you.
chat with both of you.
It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I'm going to quote the Bobs on this one and say all of the goodness is on our side.
No, you guys are awesome, and it was great to have a conversation with you, especially the knowledge that you both have, and then the accent, Keefe, just made me more homesick than ever.
Oh my God! Don't praise Keefy.
All
I'm
right.
kidding.
Well,
Praise the crap out of Keefy. Keefy needs it. I don't. I'm way too full of myself.
I need to go cook dinner. My husband's been very, very patient, but it's time to make dinner. It's 6:30 here, so have a great, great night,
Spectacular.
you
Have a great
guys,
night, Sue.
and
Thank you.
thanks again. Thank you for letting me come on, share, and smile.
Lovely.
Okay, bye.
All righty. That was more than I expected, which makes me happy. So we are going to cut this show different than we had intended. And I think no one here is going to complain. We are now going to describe, which was the original intention, but we're going to stop after this. Garage Days Revisited. Also known as what, Keefy?
Blitzkrieg and Am I Evil?
Come on, bro. Da 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 da. That was bad. What is the title track off that?
I mean, the
release?
Creeping Death single is what you're talking about, technically.
Yeah. So Creeping Death comes out with Blitzkrieg and Am I Evil? So, from what I understand from the time we have spent together, you're not a big fan of Creeping Death, is that correct?
Creeping Death is my favorite song by Metallica still. Like,
Or have you heard
have
this
you heard
song?
of this song?
Are you familiar?
Yeah, Ride the Lightning's still my favorite album. Creeping Death's still my favorite song.
Okay, that's fair. Now, one of my absolute favorite Metallica songs is Am I Evil?
Oh, it's not Metallica's song. Or is it?
It is.
Does it cover... how many covers has Metallica done where they've basically taken over the song and it's their song now? It's a lot.
All of them.
No, I wouldn't say all of them. I would say...
Name one they didn't. Besides.
Oh, he's got to always qualify some shit. Like, let me have an opinion.
I'm gonna take away one out of the 100.
Sure,
okay?
the Merciful Fate medley.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one. That's the one. That's the one.
That don't count.
I'm muted. You go.
Yeah, I'm going. So, I think I love Garage Inc., but a lot of it is not like unique or stellar, except for a few things. So,
I would agree with that. The Merciful Fate medley is amazing. The Thin Lizzy
Astronomy
track
is
amazing.
incredible.
Oh, Astronomy Dominant. Yeah, Astronomy is amazing.
Turn the Page is good, not great.
Correct.
Whiskey in a Jar is fine. I'm surprised that became a huge thing for
Wait,
them.
didn't we already do this? Why did we jump so far ahead?
I don't know why we did this, but like you brought because we're talking about those two covers. So let's talk. "Am I Evil" is not Metallica's song; it's by Diamond
Correct.
Head.
It's by Diamond
Blitzkrieg is by Blitzkrieg. You can make
Wait,
a case.
is it from the album Blitzkrieg?
It absolutely is Blitzkrieg from
Nice.
the album Blitzkrieg by Blitzkrieg. I think I might be wrong on that, but let's say Diamond Head.
It is now.
Diamond
I
Head
don't
has-
care what they did. It is now.
May I finish? Diamond Head, the person who needs the kill button is you, not me. Diamond Head is has other songs beside "Am I Evil" that are awesome. Blitzkrieg, to my knowledge, doesn't. So, like, when a band has one good song and you cover that song and take it away from them, granted, I'm sure the guys in Blitzkrieg, whoever's still alive, is getting a royalty check from Metallica. That's amazing. Brian Tatler recently did an interview where he was like, I interviewed him and he was like, I bought a house because of them. Thank God they covered my song. I don't care. I never feel bad about it. I made no money with Diamond Head until Metallica covered my song and they became huge. So, it's the same thing. Phil Lynot's family. Scott Gorham has said like how thankful he is that Metallica has covered their song. Mastodon has covered Emerald, by the way, my favorite Thin Lizzy song. Anyway, or second favorite song. My favorite Thin Lizzy song is Cowboy Song, covered by Anthrax. But anyway, Nick, go on and talk about the Creeping Death single and why Creeping Death is even a single.
Go ahead and give me a pause, please.
Oh no, why?
My eyeball hurts. All right, let's talk about Diamond Head. Now, one of the great things about the Metallica covers is they typically covered bands nobody knows. At the time, anyway. So, Diamond Head, it's Tatler and Harris write Am I Evil. Not only does Metallica release that on Garage Days Revisited, on Garage Days Incorporated, and all the business, but is there a Metallica live record that does not have that song on it? I don't believe there is. And as Mike Nesbitt said to Mickey Dolenz, songwriting is where the money is. So every time Metallica releases a version of Am I Evil, Tatler and Harris get a check. And that's amazing. And that's one of the things that's so great about Metallica is they covered so many bands that nobody knows. So, Am I Evil? Is it the greatest song ever written in England that week? Yes. That week.
It is a great heavy metal song, and when you thrash it up with Metallica, it is pretty fantastic, yeah.
Well, when we discussed Metallica's Garage Days Incorporated, I think we discovered how great Metallica is at taking songs that are amazing and just making them way better. I mean, have you ever thought to yourself, A Corpse with No Soul is not amazing? You haven't. It's amazing. Metallica took Merciful Fate's best song, which is not that one.
No.
It is, of course, what, Keefy?
I mean, Melissa.
Wrong. Satan's Fall.
All right. Jesus.
What? No, you got it wrong. I can't help you if you get it wrong.
You're not even going to King Diamond. Be quiet. You don't get to talk.
You're not going. I'm talking about Merciful Fate. Merciful Fate.
Same difference, just about. We discussed this already on 2 podcasts.
Look, only because they've
did
got
like a 10-year-long podcast on King Diamond and Merciful Fate. We suffered through most of these records of trash.
Oh my God, they're so terrible. The
three
90s are awful. The difference between Merciful Fate and King Diamond is Andy LaRock.
That's fair.
That's it. That's like all there is now. It's like the same dudes except for Andy. Anyway, Satan's Fall is like one of the greatest. It's probably the greatest Nawabum riff, even though they're Danish. And they took that and they were able to make it into something. And I mean, I love Satan's Fall. Satan's Fall is my favorite Merciful Fate song. When I heard Metallica do it, I'm like, holy shit. Why didn't Merciful Fate do this? Where was Hank Sherman? Where was Denner when they did this? and that's how I think these two songs go for me. And I have heard Diamond Head's "Am I Evil." I have not heard Blitzkrieg's "Blitzkrieg" from the album Blitzkrieg, but I just can't imagine that it's any better. And
It
Blitzkrieg,
isn't. It is not. Confirmed. It is not.
fair enough. And I think Blitzkrieg is probably one of the forgotten Metallica tracks, because that single is really, really amazing
Yeah.
and completely forgotten. And that was what I was so 'cause being a poor kid in the 90s and the 80s and 90s, I didn't have the Elektra version of Kill 'Em All with Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg on CD. I had it on tape, which I got rid of. So it wasn't until between 1993 and 1999 I did not have those songs in their full studio versions. I had the truncated versions of Am I Evil on Life Shaped Binge and Purge, but there was no Blitzkrieg. There was nothing. It was just a song that they recorded. It happened, and they did nothing about it. So when Garage Inc. comes out, I'm really, really excited, and I'm still really, really excited to have that track. You up, bro?
I concur. Yeah. There's not much to say. I mean, Am I Evil? They still play it sometimes. They did it at the Big Four concerts as a big encore, with Mustaine singing and playing guitar, and like they let him lead it off, like take a whole verse, him and Joey Badly. And
Did they play that before Kirk joins the band? I don't even know.
Sorry, did they? What'd you say?
Did they play those songs with
for
Dave
sure.
and the band?
Oh, for sure. Am I Evil for 100% because he.
I know they played a lot of covers before.
They told
started
people
writing.
it was their songs. Like they told people these are our songs. Oh, that's your. Oh my God, that song's incredible. Oh yeah, we wrote that. Like, come on.
Fair enough.
And even Mustaine, like, oh, nobody knows. What do you call it? Never Say Die. Nobody knows that album by Black Sabbath. They all forgot about them. We can do it and tell them it's ours, and see if anyone
wish
figures
everyone
it out.
had forgotten about that record. I
Well,
wish I could forget that record. Thanks, Keefy.
I know, me too. But what can you do, bro? What can you do?
Can't drink it away. I've tried.
I know. I want to, but I can't. It's the same line. It works. It still works. I was gonna say AC/DC in the soundtrack to Deadpool was just fitting in every Marvel scenario.
There is absolutely nothing from Deadpool 3. I'm sorry, I'm not going to call it Deadpool and Wolverine. There is nothing from that movie that is not just amazing.
We'll see. I don't want to spoil. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Anything else on this era before we? Maybe we can't do an album with a guest. Like that might be unless the album and the guest is the thing, because like
Could be.
we're just too talky with the guests. We need
Well,
to
and I mean, Sue was amazing.
amazing. No, amazing. I
She
would not
had
changed nothing. No notes. 10 of 10. Fantastic.
I did not expect to have like so much where I'm like, oh my God, tell me more.
Nick is going to reach out to Sue and get all of Sue's links and info so we can drive people to follow Sue in all the places and go Kraken. I'm dying to go to Seattle and
Fuck
do
those
all the
guys.
things.
Fuck them
Ouch.
Kraken.
You suck, dude. Like, come on, be nice.
Really?
Can't you be
Okay,
nice?
okay. Let's just say, Keefy.
You might be the least nice Midwesterner I know. That's really saying something.
My wife says that I don't belong here.
You don't. You belong in the coastal elite with my background.
That's what the wife says. She says I struck her as an East Coaster.
So somebody should strike you. Anyway, yo.
So if the Kraken play the Rangers, what are you gonna say? You're gonna say go Kraken, or you gonna say fuck them Kraken?
I'm gonna say let's go Rangers. I only say fuck the Islanders and the Phillies because fuck them. And I don't hate any other hockey team like I hate the Phillies and the Flyers and whatever the Islanders.
I don't. I
don't
love
even hate the Devils. I was happy when they won the cup a few times, and I was like, good
fair.
for them. Brodeur, best goalie I've ever seen.
No, he's not that great. I love one team. What?
Crazy, you crazy boy. You're so crazy. Nick's so crazy.
You know
Who's
what?
a better goalie than Martin Brodeur of his peer group? You gonna say Dominic Hasek? Who's better? Come on, bro. Grant Fuhrer, who played for 100 years. He's a compiler. He's like the Cal Ripken of goalies. I'm just gonna play forever and be
Former
average.
St. Louis Blue Grant Fuhr, the greatest lefty to play for the Blues.
Nobody remembers Grant Fuhr at all with the Blues except you.
Oh my God! Come to the fucking arena. There are 31 jerseys with 4 letters all over the damn bitch.
Nick's gonna throw down the gloves and grab me by the shoulder pads and
No,
me in the
you
neck.
want to know who's better than Brodeur in his era? One name, 3 fucking letters. What are they?
I have no idea.
ROY.
Oh, Patrick Waugh? Okay, fine. He was incredible. That's fair.
4 cups.
Fair. Well, like, again, the goalies don't win cups. Goalies play
they do.
defense. They
No,
stop. They
goalies-
help you win cups.
goalies-
They don't win by
They win.
themselves.
No. Goalies win cups. Name an amazing goalie.
I mean,
Name one. Just name
Mike
one.
Richter.
How many did he win? He win one? Yeah, he won one. Name another. Name another amazing goalie.
Henrik Lundqvist.
Oh, fuck that guy. Try again.
You're terrible. I love you, but you're also terrible. It's crazy.
You love me because I'm terrible.
I don't think that's true. I think that's actually not. I think we've exceeded the limit of this podcast, and
But look at my smile. Look at my smile.
I know. It hurt. I laugh so hard it hurts. It actually physically.
I'm feeling good.
I could have used the belt.
I've got to pee so bad.
Oh,
but
I drank my whole liquid death while the fire alarm was going off, which
I'm on beer
edit
3.
out.
I'm on Schlafley American Lager.
Oh, your liver's gonna be Schlafleyed. Is there anything else we need to
Fuck that liver.
put a bow on this thing? Well, you only get one, so.
Not if you're lucky and rich. Oh wait, I'm not that. Oh fuck me.
I mean, lucky may be rich, no, for sure.
Very lucky, yes. So, I mean, what can we say? We are talking about Metallica. And I mean, the thing about Metallica is, I saw a tweet today, and I'm going into serious journalistic mode. Saw a tweet today, will metal ever reach the mainstream again? No. No, it never will. Metal has always been the weirdo in the corner. And you know what? I mean, I'm fucking weird. My wife tells me every day how weird I am. I don't see it. But you know what? I'm going to guess the person who chose to spend her whole life with my dumb ass. Which I'm smart, but I'm dumb as hell. She sees something I don't. And I mean, God, I hope so. I hope she sees something attractive in whatever the hell this is. But metal guys have always been the nut bars. We have always been the outsiders. And it's never going to be more than that. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm sure the metal guys like, who's our buddy that, are you having a good Friday? You know, would love to make money off their music. So what we have is a moment where Metallica is moving from a hobby into, good Lord, what would you call Metallica now? It's not a job. I mean, corporation.
Sure,
I mean,
yeah, it's a career for them. I mean, they got a career out
it's
of it, right?
way more than that, though.
Anvil, by the way, I don't want to be mean to our guests' loving memory and tribute to Anvil. Anvil still has regular jobs, and they hate it. They're resentful. They're not bigger still. And I wish, as much as I like the documentary, and you should see Anvil, the film, I almost wish it hadn't happened for them because they're really intolerable. Hate to say it, but I apologize.
Holy shit, Lunchbox.
Yeah, they're not good guys. They're great. I love those first couple albums, and I love Mothra was my jam for many years.
Fuck
as a teenager.
Mothra. Batch her like a motherfucker.
You stop it. No one gets that
No.
joke. Only I get that joke.
Okay, who's Mothra?
Dude, stop. Like, you're not going to challenge me on my Godzilla knowledge right on our podcast. Come on, be nice.
Holy crap. I saw a memory on Facebook today that my kid did not know till like age 8 or 9 that Batra was a bad guy and Mothra was the good guy as she was holding one of my Batra plushies.
Well, interestingly enough, Mothra has been considered like they didn't realize Mothra was a hero until later. Like, this is a recurring theme. Godzilla, the recent Godzillas, like, they always make Mothra, like, I'm not sure of Mothra's intentions. It might be mean. It's like, no, man, like, moths.
Can I just say one thing?
Except in Silence of the Lamb, moths are always your friends.
Can I just say one thing?
You could say many things and take us home, because I'm done.
Mahara. Mahara. Am I close? Am I anywhere near?
No.
No. Okay.
Not even close.
I can't sing. Anyway, I'm gonna say thank you to Sue. You brought way more awesome stories, way more amazing things than I was expecting. I was expecting a 20-minute. I talked to John, I talked to Marsha, they did this, they did that, and we got this amazing story. We got these several amazing stories. We got an entire book of stories. And I am very thankful, and we will present them for years to come. Keefy, I know I'm a dick. You are Cyclops, I'm Wolverine.
I feel like I've been emasculated by Fox, and I'm never going to get a correct story arc until X-Men 97 appears on Disney Plus. But Cyclops, by the way, was the leader of the X-Men. Wolverine was almost never the leader of the X-Men. He's an anti-hero. He's barely a hero. He's not heroic. He's not a leader. He's not a person you lean on to make it. He's not Jordan, where he makes everybody around him better because he's Wolverine. That's what Professor X is. That's what Cyclops is. Cyclops was the man, and they wrecked him in these movies. And I don't know if it's because James Marsden's a marginal actor or what it is, but whack writing.
Wow, nerd.
Fix it. When you make an X-Men movie, fix it and make it make sense. Don't make Storm the leader. Don't make Jean Grey the leader. Make Cyclops the leader and give him some balls, please.
That was not an attempt to trigger you.
Give him some juggernauts. Triggered.
I'm lost. I mean, no.
Take us home, Daddy.
I'm trying, but you Amtrak'd me.
Nothing to sum up. Just go into the ending. That's it.
All righty. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Keefy, for whatever the hell I do that makes you come back weekly. Thank you, Sue. Your stories were amazing. Thank you, Danny, because I know you're listening at some point in time in your life, hopefully after a soccer game. You know what? And for our listeners, I mean, we try very hard to make an entertaining and engaging show on the weekly. If you are on YouTube, subscribe, please. If you are on iTunes or Spotify, subscribe, please. We are fighting the almighty algorithm. Elon Musk does not want you to hear us. Help us fight him. And with that, I will say, Keefy, you are a delight. You are a gem. And this show is nothing without you. Our listeners, same thing. You are a delight. You are a gem. This show is nothing without you. Me, Nick Cameron, is replaceable. But thank you for coming back weekly. And I will say at this point in time, thank you for joining us. This has been the Glacially Musical Podcast. It does not play in Peoria.
Did Raven play in Peoria?
Maybe.